Commissioners meeting to order at 10:02. All those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, now's the time where we take public comment for items not appearing on today's agenda. Seeing none, we'll move on. Do we have any additions to the agenda from any of the commissioners?
None that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right, move on to the meeting minutes. Unless there's changes needed, we'll take a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
All right. Well, I was not at this meeting, but
All right.
I will make the motion to approve the July 30th minutes.
I will second the motion. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the meetings held on July 30th, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed,
And
nay,
I'll
and then
abstain.
one abstention. Okay, so we've observed the proper rules on that. We will move on to proclamations. A couple of big proclamations today, both kind of on the same topic. We have proclamation number 39, proclaiming August 16th through 24th as Grange Fair Days in Center County. And then the related proclamation number 40, proclaiming the 150th anniversary of the Great Grange Fair in Center County. And the commissioners are very happy to be the ones in office during that 150th celebration. So we'll call up Ben and Barry to kind of tag team us on all the fabulous things happening this year and for the last 150. Yeah, why don't you sit here at the side table so that the press can get better close-ups. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us. We're very excited to be here. I brought some brochures along. I'm sure most of you have seen these, but August 16 through 24 is the Center County Grange Fair. It's our 150th anniversary. We're so excited. I mean, it's 264-acre fair and largest fairgrounds in the state, and we're very, very proud of it. And our opening ceremonies are Thursday at 6 p.m. That's August 15th. We always appreciate the Center County Commissioners coming there and supporting us each year, and we just appreciate all that you do for us as well. I know in the brochure, there's an ice cream social on Monday
Yep.
at 11 a.m., and guess who it's sponsored by? Our
Yeah.
Center County Commissioners, so we do appreciate you.
That's Creamery ice cream.
Is it?
Yes.
Good, I'll have to get.
Over
get there.
1,000 individual self-serve cups.
Yep. And I know we have extra activities going on this year. I know Sunday is our documentary. That was, large part of that is sponsored by the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau. And I saw a little snippet of it, and I even see a tribute from Garth Brooks, how they got him to do a snippet for that. You know,
cool.
but gave him a start years ago, and of course, we've given like Brad Paisley, Lady A, Morgan Wallen, Gabby Barrett, all those we've had at our fair. So we're very, very fortunate to have that kind of entertainment at the fair. I know Sunday there's going to be a tractor, and I think you can run for it with a little bit. And
So Sunday, the 18th, begins with group pictures of our tenors, starting with those who have attended for 100 years, and then those who have attended each decade thereafter, becoming 90 and 80 years and on down. At 1 p.m., there's an antique tractor and car parade that's scheduled, and that'll be anything from 1960 back. So at 7:30, there will be a celebration with cupcakes commemorating the 150th, and then it says here at 8:39, the premiere of the documentary, Grange Fair celebrating 150 years, and that's featuring many of the devoted fairgoers, and one very special surprise. And this project was sponsored with Happy Valley Adventure Bureau. So there's copies of the documentary that'll be also offered for people if they wish to purchase. There's 325 concessionaires and 7,000 items on exhibit, 2 ride vendors, motorsports, competition, track, rodeo, equine events, including the 6-horse hitches that are very popular at the Pennsylvania Farm Show. There's a lot of things for everybody. There's something there for each and every one. The brochures are listing everything.
And as I remember, one of the big things about the fair is that all of the entertainment is included for free
That is
with your
correct.
entry. So
Yeah.
unlike other fairs where if you want to hear
Correct.
the headliner band or one of the other very popular bands, you got to shell out extra. At Grange
Yes.
Fair, once you're in, it's included.
I field a lot of phone calls because people look at the website, look at
Yeah.
what we have out there, and they said, we can't seem to get anybody to tell us how we can order tickets for our entertainment.
Yeah.
And I explain it's a one-fee fair, and they
Yep.
have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of unique, along with having 1,000 tents and 1,500-plus RVs there on
You're up
site.
to 1,500 RVs now.
Plus,
I remember it was 1,100.
1,500-plus RVs.
Who
Wow.
is the entertainment this year? Maybe we can,
Well, Jody Messina's going to be there.
Oh.
Aaron Tippin's going to be there. Ann Wilson, she's a Christian singer. We've been getting a lot of hits about that. So, but just check out the brochure. Go onto our website, grangefair.com, or as LaDawn would say, load our Grange Fair app onto your phone and pick it up that way. If she was here too, she would tell you that it started with Leonard Roan 150 years ago. He wanted to showcase agriculture and promote the Grange. The Grange was initially started to build up the South after the Civil War, and so that's where it all began. And started out it was a one-day picnic, and then people started bringing tents, and it just went on from there. But and we just appreciate the commissioner's support, not only the Ice Cream Social, but I know, Steve, I remember years ago when you would come over and we would, prior to COVID, we were allowed to sell all the baked goods out of,
Yes.
the prize-winning apple pie, the prize-winning chocolate cake, and things like that. And you were a big supporter of that. In fact, I remember one year we had a gentleman there. He's severely handicapped and things like that. They're a very poor couple, and I saw you, and you didn't probably see me at the time, but you went up and paid their bill. So we appreciate things like that. I appreciate Mark and them from coming to the junior livestock sale and
Yeah.
helping out there, purchasing usually one of the prize-winning rabbits, so.
Last 7
but,
fairs in a row.
That's,
Yes.
well, let's make it 8.
Let's
so.
make it 8.
But we do appreciate you, and we appreciate all the support that the commissioners have given us over the years. And we're very thankful to be here and receive the proclamation on behalf of the Center County Grange Fair.
Great, and you were mentioning there's a lot of additional animals for exhibit this year, too.
The barns are packed. We did add an addition on, we used our 50/50 money the other year and add an extension onto the one sheep beef barn. And we thought that would give us enough stalling, and we are maxed out again.
On pretty much all species. yes.
All species. Our rabbits, I had told you, we had like 50 market rabbits last year, and that increased to 83 this year. We actually ran out of pens and had to come up with a few extra pens.
All right, so they'll be in the chicken area, but they're not
So,
chickens.
A few in the chicken area. Our chickens this year are kind of limited due to the avian influenza in the state and things like that. We are allowed to bring in the market broilers, which are going directly to market afterwards, but they're only allowed to be on the fairgrounds for 72 hours.
All right.
And we actually have to put caution tape up around them. They were all tested negative for avian influenza
Okay, good.
before we bring them to the fair. So we're concerned about safety at Grange
Yes.
Fair.
Yep.
It's always a priority.
So
Yeah.
that increase in animals means there's more kids who are raising livestock.
There are
That's
more
great.
kids raising livestock. I
Yeah.
think a lot of times, some of the smaller animals, especially the poultry, the rabbits and things, because a lot of them, it was their grandparents that were involved in the dairy and the beef
Yeah.
industries and things like that. So it's a way to keep some of the people that live in a community or a development to actually, have some livestock and learn that type of responsibility.
Wonderful. We very much appreciate you coming. Was there anything else you wanted to add? It's
Yeah.
150 years.
Yeah, since COVID, there's been issues as far as getting help, and we never turn anybody away as far as volunteers or paid
Yeah.
volunteers. One thing I wanted to mention is with our gates, and we try to get this out, any organization that's trying to fundraise.
Ah, yes.
They can come as an organization, we pay them directly, the straight fee, as a donation to them. It's a wonderful way, to fund for schools, projects, new uniforms, field trips, any of those kind of things. And we'll take them as groups, and the numbers they supply us and the hours they work is what they're compensated with as a donation directly to that organization. And again, we can use help, and they can contact the office or contact myself.
Yeah.
And we'll get them into the mix for the fair.
Yeah, I know the Howard Lions usually cover the south side parking. and
Yes, they work with.
They always find me a good spot, so I appreciate the Howard Lions.
Yep, yep. We also have several Lions clubs. We have support from Harris Township. They do the north side of the lot over by the main grandstand, and we also have Ferguson that does a lot of the work as far as making sure that all those individuals have water and checking on, help me check on what's going on in the lots. So, yeah, it's, as I said, we don't turn people away. We can always use the help. So,
I
we
would always-
appreciate everything from the commissioners and everything you help us with throughout the year.
We'd be remiss, the sheriff is just in the doorway there, and
Yes.
his help at keeping security I think it's important to have a law enforcement presence at the fair, and his deputies and he do a great job of
They-
patrolling the grounds and making sure everybody's taken care of and safe.
We do have security at our fair, but without the sheriff's department, without his support, with Sheriff Samsel, they do a wonderful job, and I'm always glad to see them on the premises. So,
Absolutely.
The children's registration that they do to keep kids safe at our fair too is a real plus. I remember years ago when people used to put name tags on their kids. And you would say, I'm in South, tent 3 in row 9 or something. You just don't do that anymore. So we appreciate the way you can register those children, keep our fair safe.
thanks.
But the economic impact for our fair that week is like over $4 million now. I remember
Yes.
25 years ago when I went on committee, and we weren't quite to $1 million, and we thought when we got to $1 million, that was really something, and now it's... And then the total economic impact for Grange Park is between $16 and $20 million with our equine area
Oh.
and things like that.
You're filling hotels on that
Yeah,
side of town
yeah.
now.
So we very much appreciate the support of our Center County Commissioners as well, so.
One thing that was sent along to me, it was a note that I wanted to mention. We had a record-breaking year in 2023, that we were over $1 million at the gates.
Wow.
And I know our, Lennon couldn't be present this morning, but she wanted that mentioned. We're still expanding.
Yes.
Fairs are struggling, and we're all trying to do the best, but we're very fortunate that we're still on the up. So, coming back
Yeah.
from COVID.
Two more things I can think of that kind of involve the commissioners. There's the parade on Thursday, the 22nd, kicking off at 1 o'clock. I'm pretty sure all 3 commissioners will be there. We rearranged our schedule a little bit, make sure we won't be late this year. And then, surprised JJ didn't bring it up, we've got our hiring event at the county's Grange Fair tent on Wednesday, August 21st, from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're at YPH Street, one of the middle tents. It's very close to the headquarters.
Yeah.
And I believe our minimum pay at this point is approaching $16 an hour, and we've got a lot of jobs that pay well into the $20 an hour range. Some require college education, but a lot don't. So appreciate you allowing us to have a hiring event at the fair. I'll hand it over to Commissioner Concepcion for
Yeah,
comments
so
and
the
questions.
documentary is really exciting. So if someone wants to see the documentary, they come at 8:30 Sunday evening?
That's correct.
And where is that going to be
At the
viewed?
main grandstand.
Okay, great.
So, at the main grandstand.
So lots of space there.
Yes.
And then
And
they'll be
that's
selling
set up,
copies.
that's rain or shine, because it'll be set up so that.
Okay,
And
Right.
yes, go ahead.
They'll be selling copies afterwards.
nice.
So I don't know
Great.
whether they'll have them right there at the grandstand or whether you have to purchase them at the Emporium. But
Sure.
one way or the other, you'll be able to purchase a copy and take it home with you.
That's exciting, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. we got to see, I think, a little preview of it at the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau
Yes.
Tourism Grant
Yes.
event. So,
Yes, that was a
yeah,
preview.
it looks like really high production value.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, thanks for everything you do to keep this fair running. I think, it's clearly such an important community-building event in our county.
It is.
And, what it does for our youth to, give them opportunities to understand what agriculture is all about and to
Right.
build some career skills as well is really impressive.
Yeah, so many fairs have lost their roots. They don't realize that it's based on agriculture, which is our number one industry of the state. It's just more than just rides and food, You need to visit those barns, the equine area and
Yep.
things, because we have the largest equine facility on the East Coast. And
Yeah.
so get out there and see it. Ride one of the trams around the
Yeah.
264 acres.
Yep.
So, yeah, I often, going through this in the last year, we had a subcommittee for the development of events for the 150th. And looking back through old ledgers from the Grange and looking at pictures and stuff, I can't wrap my mind around how many people and how many generations of families, plus people who have moved into the area have been involved over 150 years. It's just, and I'm involved because I want to see it go forward for future generations.
Yep.
So I think it's very important for the county.
Yes, definitely.
Agreed.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
Well, the sesquicentennial,
Yes, I
That's-
think that's it.
150 years is a long time to keep any tradition going, but what you've done for Center County is you've created really a format and a showcase for not only family reunions, but community reunions, because there's, people who may not, I guess, biologically be family, become family over there, and when you've had tents for 100 or so years, you certainly have created a situation where people look forward to it. It's part of their traditions, and it's part of our county traditions, and that's not done without a lot of work from a lot of folks on, not only on your committee, but also just throughout the community. And I think it's really appreciated what you're doing, and our way of saying thank you to you for all your hard work and success. And we really look forward to the 150. And it's going to be a big deal this year, and we're very, very excited to help you celebrate. So.
I appreciate you saying about the hard work, because a lot of people don't realize, they think the fair just pops up. The 9-day fair just shows up the week before, but they don't realize the week after Grange Fair, the committee, Barry
starts all
leading
over.
us,
Yeah.
it starts all over again. We
Year-round
start planning for the
process.
following year, but
Yes.
it's a full year-long event of committee members that work very, very hard to make the fair a success every year. So thank you for bringing that up. I don't think people realize that.
It's the size of a small city there.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, I think while the fair's going on, it's the third largest city in Center County.
It is. Yep. Yep.
Almost 1,000 tents and 1,500 RVs, and if you're averaging 2 or 3 people each, that's a lot of people.
And it contains more animals than any farm in Center County
Wow.
during that
Yeah.
particular
Good
time,
point.
too.
That's
Yes,
amazing.
And a few wayward politicians along the way.
Right.
maybe.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you.
Great, well, go ahead.
We welcome each and every one of those politicians, because the people that are involved with us in this area support us, and we need that help, definitely. Leonard Roan's vision when he started this, it was shortly after the Civil War, was unification. Ben had talked about that, and I'd like to see that tradition. I think this is the greatest country on the earth, and I would like to see this tradition of unification continue on. That people get together, talk to each other, and try and work things
Yeah.
out.
Yep,
In a setting like that, I think it works better.
yeah,
So far, it's been successful, and I'd like to see it continue on.
definitely, yes.
So that's how we end up with the very costly 1,000 Civil War tents that we're still
Yes,
able to find someone to make and that we can construct on site so that it's available for the fair. So, and I have to take my hat off to our maintenance crew, because that's a lot of work. So,
definitely. So, Center County, Grange Fair, 150th, you said that was the Sesquicentennial?
Sesquicentennial.
Centennial.
Is he going to spell that for us, too?
I can go get the spelling.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So August 16th through the 24th on the west side of Center Hall, over 200 acres. And how many vendors was that?
325 vendors, and that equates, where do I find that?
And a couple of political. things.
325 vendors, and that equates to about 7,000 exhibit items at
All
the
right.
fair.
So almost any kind of food you would ever want, especially if it's deep fried. And multiple hardware stores and clothing and practically everything. I do miss the sock guy, though.
Yeah, where is he?
I think he stopped doing it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, which is too bad.
I'm still wearing those socks.
Me too. They were great socks. Who cares if they were slightly imperfect? They're socks. Nobody can tell. Do we have any questions from the press about the Grange Fair, the 150th? All right. Unless there's anything else, looks like we'll probably should adopt the 39 and then adopt the 40.
And then we'll do
And
a
then-
photo
and
afterwards.
then we'll do the photo.
Okay. I will move to adopt Proclamation 39 of 2024 proclaiming August 16th through the 24th, 2024 as Grange Fair Days in Center County.
I will second that.
We have a motion, a second, to adopt proclamation number 39 proclaiming August 16th through the 24th as Grange Fair Days in Center County. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. We'll move on to the next one.
Okay, I'll move to adopt Proclamation 40 of 2024 proclaiming the 150th anniversary of the Great Grange Fair in Center County.
And I will second that.
All right, we have a motion, a second, to adopt proclamation number 40 proclaiming the Sesquicentennial.
Yes.
150th anniversary of the Great Grange Fair. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Let's come on up and do the photo op.
I think it's
I
SESQUI.
think it's something like that, yes.
Give Dawn our best. I know she's probably busy setting up her little marketplace now.
That'd be important.
Where you'll find her today.
I would imagine.
Coming over and center on Center Hall. How's that?
There you go. Just in case.
One, there's the other one.
No, I'm good.
If y'all could all scoot over just a little.
Scooch this way.
I think y'all are fine if y'all could just kind of move a
Oh,
little
tighter.
more. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Alright, say Grange Fair on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Range
Fair.
fair.
Alright, now we're talking, let's go. Thanks.
All right, thanks. We'll get
Thanks,
you.
Ben.
Thanks, I'll see you guys.
Yeah.
See you, yes.
Yeah,
For the ceremony.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you among the
Leaving the
sunflowers over
conference
there.
early.
That's fair.
Good.
Thanks.
May I let those brochures?
Absolutely. We'll make sure we put them out front and everybody
Yep.
gets one. We'll see you over there in just a bit.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you very much.
You're
Thanks for
welcome.
coming over this morning.
Thanks. All right, moving on then to contracts and authorizations. We have 3 items for court admin, and there she is. You were hiding.
Here, I was. I didn't know there's a green room now.
Yeah,
I
wow.
was in the hallway. I wasn't
You
invited
can't
into
leave
the
without,
green room.
you got to stay to the end of the meeting because I have something for you.
Okay. That's good. Okay.
All right.
So I have 3 things. They are security upgrades for magistrate offices. Every year, the AOPC, the state gives us a security grant, and they reimburse the counties 100% with these grants. The 3 that we have, it's for the vendors of, it's Mergus for Phillipsburg, Watkins for the State College offices, and then Nittany Building for the State College and Phillipsburg offices. So we would upgrade, and then we would send our invoice information into the state, and then they will send us back 100% of what has been spent by the county.
All right. Great. Any questions from other commissioner on this one?
That's good.
We'll take a motion then.
I will move to approve court administration items 1 through 3.
And I will second that.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the 3 items for court administration. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks,
Thank you.
Kendra.
Thank you.
I will come over and see you, actually.
At the courthouse?
Yep.
All right, I'll be there.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, moving on, we have 2 items for capital projects that I think John will handle.
Yes, before you for consideration is the CoStar's agreement with Watkins Security to provide the access controls and security cameras at the new Human Services facility at the former Centercrest building. Some of these costs are being absorbed by, like CYS. Some of the tenants there that have state funding involved, these are qualified expenses. So security, IT were not a part of the overall
Yeah.
bid process, but these are under CoStars.
All right.
So these are eligible for no bid acquisitions.
Okay.
Good. And as I remember, we did have a rough budget for it.
Yes,
All right,
yes,
very good. All right, Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
Did this come in about where we expected?
it did.
All right. Commissioner Dershowitz, any questions? No? All right.
Then I'll move to add the CoStarz agreement with Watkins Security LLC to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the CoStarz agreement with Watkins Security LLC to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. And then we have a relatively small change order for a project of this size.
Yes, as part of the overall demo and construction of the new facility, there were some unforeseen conditions that were found in B-Wing.
Okay.
Not of a major structural issue or anything of that nature, but there are some things that were out of scope that were unforeseen that we need to accomplish.
Okay.
Right. Definitely when you have a building where parts of it are as much as 90 years old, you're going to get a few surprises.
Yes.
Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion, Commissioner Dershowitz? All right.
I'll move to approve the change order with GM McCrossin for the Centercrest renovation project.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the change order for GM McCrossin, Inc. for the Centercrest renovation. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Moving on to the Commissioner's office, John's got an item for us.
Before you for consideration is an agreement at the correctional facility for a shared use of our stormwater basin through coordination with the county solicitor and the adjoining property owner's solicitor. We have drafted an agreement as to how the shared use of that basin will occur, who will be responsible for the maintenance and ongoing care for that facility. So before you, what I would suggest, given that we are still buttoning up or crossing the Ts and dotting the Is, would be a slight adjustment to the action. I would suggest that if you were to entertain this, to approve the Center County Correctional Facility Stormwater Basin Agreement pending final solicitor review.
Okay.
All right, any questions, Commissioner Concepcion, Commissioner Dershowitz? All right. We'll take the slightly altered motion, I believe.
I will move to approve the Center County Correctional Facility Stormwater Basin agreements pending final solicitor review.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Center County Correctional Facility Stormwater Basin Agreements pending final solicitor review. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Now we have, let's see how many items here, just 2 items for the correctional facility, and Glenn will cover those.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The first item on the agenda is I'm requesting your consideration to approve an agreement with Process Control Solutions to provide replacement of 2 main workstations, monitors throughout the facility, and update our software for the graphics. This is for our door and our access control systems. We had planned on doing this next year, but due to some problems that we were incurring, Jonathan and I met, and we met with the company, and it was decided we needed to push this up a little ahead of schedule for security purposes. They are a CoStars partner, so they do comply with that. The total price for the planned upgrade is $151,452. From what I am told, the original system, which was of course put in '05, was updated sometime around 2012 to 2013, prior to me, so it hasn't been updated since then. And I believe the gentleman that was there said the 2 main brains of the system are still operating on Windows 7, so
Yeah.
it's a little past its time. So we're requesting approval for that project. Second item is consider approving a contract with the University of Cincinnati Research Institute. This will provide Train the Trainer program for the Ohio risk assessment needs. The correctional facility switched to that about 2.5 years ago, I believe. Probation department uses it. And with some staff turnover, we're losing staff who are qualified to administer the program. And so Deputy Menarchek and I got together, and we thought about having a train-the-trainer program to carry the county through for years to come. So we're getting some of the younger staff, some older staff who will be approved trainers, and we have invited probation to join us, so they have trainers in their department as well. That would be a contract for $13,750. And hopefully the training will get scheduled sometime late this fall if this is approved. So that's everything.
Great, sounds like a good idea. Commissioner Concepcion,
So
question?
do they provide some ongoing support then through March? Is that why the contract goes through March?
Well, basically it goes through March to get the scheduling down packed. They were hoping to squeeze us in this fall. They said if not, they would try to get us right after the first of the year. So we didn't want to close us into the fall and have to change it again.
Commissioner Dershowitz, any questions?
All good.
All right.
And I'll move to add the Center County Correctional Facility items 1 and 2 to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have motion and second to add the 2 items for the Center County Correctional Facility to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you very much.
And then we have Liz from Planning and Community Development. Looks like I'm going to be on potentially 36 authorities, boards, and commissions now.
Well, okay, I'm going to handle this item, and then Coachy is going to handle the second item.
Yes.
Back in June, we had asked your approvals with the formation of the MPO's Projects Committee to make those appointments. So Commissioner Concepcion sits on that as the county rep, and then Daryl Schaefer serves as the primary appointment for the outlying regions. It came to our attention that we were able to appoint alternates to this committee. That's really important to have, just for the purposes of the number of projects that are going to be vetted through this committee and being able to have a quorum. So today we're asking that you consider appointing Commissioner Higgins as the alternate in place of Commissioner Concepcion, pardon me, and Casey Dillon as the outlying regions representative from the Nittany Valley. So I don't know if you have any additional questions.
Yeah. Any questions from either commissioner? All right.
I will move to approve the appointments of Mark Higgins and Casey Dillon to the Metropolitan Planning Organization's Special Projects Committee.
I will second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the appointments of Mark Higgins and Casey Dillon, thank you, Casey, to the Metropolitan Planning Organization Special Project Committee. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Liz.
Okay, thank you.
And now Coachy has an addendum to the Taylor Township Agreement for us.
This is an addendum, it's actually just a time extension for the agreement that was passed on June 11th with Taylor Township for the bridge reconstruction on South Mountain Road. Essentially, because of supply, demand delays, kind of right now, the project actually has not started. So that pushes everything back. So ultimately, that pushes our deadline with them back from December 31st until March 31st of 2025. So we're just asking for that 3-month extension.
Great, well, thanks for doing the extra work there, Coachy, and glad the county and our finance department and planning were flexible so that we can temporarily loan the money to Taylor Township so they can get the project done.
Absolutely.
All right. Commissioners, questions?
I'll move to approve the addendum with Taylor Township.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the addendum with Taylor Township. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Coachy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And then Chad has 2 items for information technology.
Good morning. The first item is a contract with Gila LLC. They do business as Municipal Services Bureau to add another online payment acceptance solution, credit card e-payment. This is something Treasurer's Office wanted to use in their area to provide some more flexibility for collecting payments. This is no cost to the county. The fee would be, 2.35% for credit card users. And then the next item is a contract addendum for the Wasabi Cloud Storage to increase the cloud storage that we have by an additional 50 terabytes, put us up to, I think, around 150 terabytes.
Okay.
And so this adds on to that, will add on $2,550 to that original agreement.
Well, not surprising, we always have more and more and more data.
We sure do, yep.
All right, any questions from either commissioner on those? All right,
I'll move to add the information technology services items 1 and 2 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
we have a motion and a second to add the 2 items for information technology services to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. Great, thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
All right, and then we have a bunch of items for human services. Oh, there's Dave. Dave from Transportation has a fourth quarter report.
Yes, good morning, thank you. I ask for consideration of approval and the opportunity to submit our fourth quarter report for the fiscal year 2023-2024 for the Medical Assistance Transportation Program, which we are the provider for Center County. It is for services that do, for people that do qualify for that program under the guidelines. That would be for the period April 1st of 2024 through June 30th of 2024. During that period, our expenses for medical assistance was $220,467. The grand total for the year was $836,841 for medical assistance for 2023-2024 that we provided. And
Great, well, thanks for the background on that, Dave. I will mention as an aside, I ran across one of your former drivers at an event recently, and
Okay.
she mentioned just how much she liked working for the Transportation Department in the county.
That's always nice to hear. It's nice to hear that people did enjoy it. I
Yep.
mean, I think it's a great place, obviously. I'm a little biased
Yeah.
after going on 25 years, but it is a great service. My people are very passionate
Yeah.
about the service and work really hard to meet the needs of the people, for sure.
And you'll hopefully have somebody at the recruiting event at Grange Fair.
I plan on being there myself because I need some people.
Okay, good.
I will add, just looking at numbers for comparison of June of 2023 to '24, we're up almost 20% in trips this year as compared to last year. So we are seeing an effect of changes that are made, but hopefully we're helping meet some of the needs of those people. So that's exciting news as well, that we're going back up in trips, so.
Great, well, it looks like those planning meetings we had a few months ago are paying off, and we're ready
I think
for the
so.
surge.
Yes, thank you.
Good, good. Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion, Commissioner Dershowitz?
Good, thank you.
All right.
I'll move to add the fourth quarter report for fiscal year 23-24 for the Medical Assistance Transportation Program to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have motion and a second to add the fourth quarter report for the state fiscal year 23-24 for the Medical Assistance Transportation Program to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great.
Thank
Thanks,
you all
Dave.
very much.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, and Leah's here with, I think a grand total of 6 items, but we're going to approve it in a couple sections.
Okay, sounds good. Good morning. I am here this morning to ask for your consideration and approval for our fiscal year 25-26 needs-based plan and budget. This needs-based plan and budget is obviously looking future,
Yes.
projecting where we may be at in 2 years and trying to determine what our anticipated costs will be. At this point, our total request for fiscal year 25-26 to the state is $16,751,062, with the county share being $3,514,016, which is about 20% of our total budget. In order to draw down the $16 million, we need to have the county's commitment for the $3 million. That is a slight increase from where we were at for our allocated amount in fiscal year 24-25. The county increase specifically is approximately $419,000. Those increases are driven mostly by purchase services, and specifically our placement costs. What we are seeing as the complexity of the needs of children are growing, the costs to have them placed and receive the treatment equipment that they need is increasing. That's also then exacerbated a little bit by the fact that most purchase providers are struggling significantly with staffing. And so they are increasing their rates to be able to retain and recruit additional staff and then also meet the treatment needs for those children. So those are the primary drivers for our increase. We did ask for some additional funding in 25, 26 to continue the staff training and development that we've started this past fiscal year and are continuing in hopes that we can continue to retain staff. We are also asking specifically for some funding to assist us in recruiting new hires and retaining those staff. The same is happening for some of our providers. They've asked for some small increases for their salary and benefits as they're struggling. And when I say those providers, I'm talking specifically Wardell and Associates and the Center County Youth Service Bureau, as they are still struggling with staffing to maintain the service level that we have experienced. And we did additionally ask for additional funding specifically for foster parent recruitment. We are now a few years out from the Family First funding that we utilized to do a larger campaign that focused on recruiting foster parents for our older teens. So we've been able to see some of the data and see what worked for that. And so we would like to ask for the funding to allow us to return to some of those advertisement measures and try to recruit more specifically for our kids to stay local in Center County. And those are the primary drivers for our increases.
Well, great. Thanks for the quick summary as one of the two largest county departments. Something to explain to the folks at home that this is the type of budget where you aim high.
Yes.
And then
Correct.
hope you come in lower.
Yes.
Because with the children and youth, if we go over the number you mentioned, I believe it's, unless we're fortunate, it's 100% county taxpayer
Correct.
money.
That's correct.
So we want this number to be high, try to bring it in lower, and we're having to guess 2 years of the future, which is
Correct.
never easy, and we appreciate your staff doing their best on that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
Yeah, no questions, but just to emphasize how critical these roles are and that we need to be, clearly budgeting to be able to pay people living wages to be able to do this work that is incredibly taxing emotionally, requires, some significant skill set that you don't get in the general population. We need people with some very specific skills to be able to work in this department, as well as with our partner agencies. So,
Thank you.
and Center County, I think, is pretty well recognized statewide as having a very well-run Children and Youth Services Department. You want to just keep that up, and we know this is some of the most important work we're doing in county government is protecting vulnerable kids.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything you do. So.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
I'm going to actually start with a question. Has
Sure.
there ever been, or is there currently ongoing, any discussion about restitution from the families involved in this? Because as we see, the cost of these services go up and up and up, the ability to pay people and the challenges. Has there ever been a conversation for the folks that have oftentimes impacted our system
Yeah.
to have some sort of restitution program? And I know that's not a very popular thing to talk about, but
Yeah.
as the financial steward of this county, I think we need to at least ask it.
Yeah, we are able to seek some restitution, if you will, but it is very specifically tied to our regulations and the funding that we draw down. So we are able to file for child support in cases that are allowable. If our children are 4E eligible and different things, then we're not able to draw down child support on those cases. So that does limit how much we are able to seek out, and that's pertaining specifically to our placement children. And so when you're looking at that, you're looking at, are they 4E eligible, and looking at, are we allowed to even seek out child support, but then also looking at the impact of seeking out child support. What will that have on the reunification effort? So a lot of times we're looking at, is that going to impact their ability to afford housing? Is that going to impact their ability to maintain any children in their home? And so it is kind of a large puzzle, if you will, at trying to figure out at what point you do file for child support, but that's really the only mechanism we have in terms of restitution, if you will. But it is very specifically guided by the regulations and then weighing out those other factors.
Okay,
But-
just had to
So yeah,
ask.
no, it's a fair question, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Unless there's anything else, we could take a motion to approve the fiscal year 25-26 budget for children and youth.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the state fiscal year 25-26 needs-based plan and budget for children and youth services. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we have another contract renewal for state systems.
Yes, thank you. So this contract renewal is our Child Welfare Information System, otherwise known as CWIS, data sharing agreement. This is something that is required to be submitted with our needs-based plan and budget, and it allows for our current case management system, which is CAPS, to share the required data with the state system. And so this is the way that we are able to receive electronic mandated reports. We're able to report on our outcomes, track our AFGARS data, various funding resources that we need to provide to the state. That information all is connected through the data sharing system. So this agreement allows us to continue that for October 1 of 2024 through September 30th of 2025, and there are no additional costs tied to this particular agreement.
Great. Any questions on that agreement? No?
I'll move to approve the contract renewal with Child Welfare Information System Data Sharing Agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the contract renewal with Child Welfare Information System Data Sharing Agreement. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries, and I believe we have 4 more contracts.
You too. Oh, thank you. So I have consideration for your approval, the contract with Justin P. Miller Esquire to provide legal services to our agency. The contract total is for $10,000, with the state share being $8,000 and the county share being $2,000 for a period of July 1 of 2024 to June 30th of 2025. The second is a contract renewal that I have with the Center County Youth Services Bureau. They provide placement services, non-placement services, such as some of our prevention programming and JUMP, to our foster care residential services for both delinquent and dependent youth. The contract total is for $2,086,557, funded by the state at $1,669,245.60, and the county share being $417,311.40 for the same contract period. The second contract renewal I have is with Community Specialist Corporation to provide foster care residential services for both dependent and delinquent youth. That contract total is for $115,000, with the state funding being $92,000 and the county share being $23,000 for a period of July 1, 2024 through June 30th of 2025. And the final contract renewal is with the Summit School to provide foster care residential services for dependent and delinquent youth. That contract total is for $97,000, with the state share being $77,600 and the county share being $19,400 for the same period of July 1, 2024 to June 30th of 2025.
Any questions from the commissioners on those contracts? All right.
I will move to add the Children and Youth Services items 3 through 6 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the Children and Youth Services items 3 through 6 to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. Great, thank you very much, Leah,
Thank you.
and staff. And then we have an item for the Super Department, MHIDEI, Drug and Alcohol, and Julia's covering that.
Good morning. So before you have a contract renewal with SendClear Child Services Incorporated to provide early intervention services, including occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech instruction, speech pathology, and IFSP teaming. So IFSP teaming
Yes.
is when it allows for 2 therapists to consult with a family at the same time.
Okay.
So generally, billing only allows for you to see 1 therapist at a time. So this allows for example, a speech therapist and an occupational therapist
Right.
to meet with a family regarding feeding issues that a child may be
Yeah,
having.
because you may have a child who has more than one issue.
Yes, so that's, I didn't know, had to ask, so
Yeah.
which you might
Yeah.
want to know as well. So that's IFSP teaming. The contract total is $115,000, with the state share being $103,500 and the county share being $11,500 for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025.
Great, thanks, Julia. Any questions? No?
I will move to add the contract with SendClear Child Services, Inc. to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with SendClear Child Services, Inc. to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. Thanks, Julia. We have a somewhat lengthy consent agenda, but it's mostly contracts.
I will move to approve this week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have motion and a second to approve this week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The consent agenda is passed. We will move on to CNET requests. I think we've got a couple, and John will cover that.
Yes, before you for consideration are two CNET sponsorship requests. One is for the taping of Constitution Day Center's Making Our Voices Heard Roundtable. It's an event to discuss immigration on Saturday, September 14th. And the second is a sponsorship for the taping of the Center County League of Women Voter Candidates Night, which is something that we traditionally sponsor here at the county.
Great. Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion, Commissioner Dershowitz?
It's my understanding that the Constitution Day event is a 360-degree look at the issue, and it's not a centrist focus.
It's not, no, we asked for a narrative on how this would be held, and it's a very neutral information gathering and sharing type of event.
I spoke briefly with the organizer. They said it's essentially a deliberation where they're trying to bring in lots of different perspectives.
That's
to
healthy.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like, I think it's an intent, the intent is to be an exercise in community problem solving and deliberation. So.
Right. Thank you.
All right. And it looks like we have it down to do the two separate votes on those?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Then I will move to approve the CNET sponsorship for Constitution Day Center's Making Our Voices Heard Roundtable event.
I will second that.
We have motion and a second to approve the CNET sponsorship of the Constitution Day Center, Inc.'s Making Our Voices Heard roundtable event on immigration. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Do the
Okay.
next one.
I'll move to approve the CNET sponsorship of the Center County League of Women Voters Candidates Night.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the CNET sponsorship of the Center County League of Women Voters Candidates Night. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. And due to the Commissioners' Convention, we actually have two check runs today.
The check that I'll pull out for highlighting this time is to the Center for Community Resources. They provide 24/7 a crisis line for people with mental health emergencies, and they have a location at 2100 East College Ave that does have some walk-in hours as well. And with that, I would move that we approve the check runs dated August 2nd and the check run dated August 9th of 2024.
I will second that.
All right, we have a combined motion to approve the check run dated August 2nd and the check run dated August 9th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. And John, I believe you do have an administrator's second quarter report.
I do. As you know, the Board of Commissioners passed Resolution 2 of 2024, which allows the county administrator to execute any financial documents, purchase orders, invoices, et cetera, that do not exceed $30,000, and only in those circumstances where funding for such has been approved and allocated in the current year's budget. Furthermore, in the event of an emergency, the administrator shall have the discretion to authorize expenditures up to and including $100,000 that shall be reported to the commissioners for ratification at the next soonest meeting. Resolution 2 also authorizes the county administrator to execute any and all documents related to grants after initial resolution authorization by the Board of Commissioners. Overall, in Q2, there were 33 such authorizations performed during the second quarter, with individual monetary values ranging from no cost all the way to the cap of $30,000. Of the 33 authorizations, 7 were software tech-related services or renewals, valued at $51,879.38. 15 items were human services related, with a total cost of $176,500. 2 items related to legal matters had a cost of $15,000. 3 items were preventative maintenance or testing related for a total cost of $9,619. 1 item was insurance related for a cost of $4,640. 5 items included service or linkage agreements that had no cost associated with them. The grand total of all expenditures authorized by the administrator in quarter 2 of 2024 was $257,638.38.
Great, thanks, John. Any question from either commissioner on that one? All right, thank you, John. We'll move on to reports. I believe Commissioner Concepcion has a voter registration
I do.
report for us.
So this week in Center County, we have 101,551 total voters registered in Center County, and that is 20 less than last week. Of those voters, 42,303 are Democratic, 148 Green Party, 598 Libertarian Party, 14,276 with no affiliation, and 41,239 Republican registered voters. All of the others comprise 2,986 of the smaller parties, and our small party of the week this week is the Modern Republican Party. They have 1 registered voter in Center County. Moving on to our precinct of the week. Our precinct of the week is Patton North 2. This is precinct 65. They vote at the Grays Woods Church at 939 Grays Woods Boulevard in Port Matilda. They have 2,162 registered voters in this precinct. And of those voters, there was a 30% voter turnout at the last election, which was the April general primary. And that's the voter report.
Great, thanks, Commissioner Concepcion. John, any executive sessions to report or hold?
No executive sessions to report. However, there is a need to hold an executive session to discuss 1 legal and 1 personnel matter.
All right. The remainder of our public meeting schedule, Thursday, August 15th, we have a combined Board of Commissioners and Salary Board meeting at 10. And then on Tuesday, August 20th, we do have a Board of Commissioners meeting at 10 o'clock. Any questions from the press? No? All right. So I believe we're going to need a motion to enter into executive session for both legal and personnel matters.
Okay, I will move to enter executive session at 10:59.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to enter into executive session at 10:59. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. We are entered into executive session, which